On the morality of Bitcoin. To start with, I will start talking about how our current monetary system works. The way it currently works is that dollars come into existence by the creation of loans. When you take a loan from the bank, those dollars didn't previously exist. So every dollar is the principal on a debt, and it is accruing interest. That means every dollar-denominated asset is somebody else's liability, and because dollars weren't created to pay the interest, that means the total amount of liabilities in society is always greater than the number of assets. And that second point, that there's always the number of liabilities in society is always greater than the number of assets, means that there's an artificial shortage in society, no matter how fruitful the labor in society might be. Just because we use dollars, it's literally impossible for everybody to get what he needs, no matter how much stuff there is. And I'll explain how this works in a little bit. Let's take a somewhat less abstract example. If a business is created through savings, then in order to stay afloat, the business income has to be greater than the business expenses, obviously. If a business is created through a loan, then in order to stay afloat, the income has to be greater than the expenses plus the interest. And obviously, expenses plus interest is greater than just expenses. So it's clearly easier to keep a business afloat if it's created through savings rather than through a loan, since a business created through a loan has added expenses in the form of interest payments. Yet because dollars are created through loans, most businesses cannot be started through savings. It's just the nature of the system that the net savings in society as a whole have to be negative. So this system produces artificial unemployment since since the net savings in society must be negative in this system. Most businesses are created through loans, and therefore, because it's harder to keep a business afloat with a loan than with initial savings, that means more businesses go under in this system than would otherwise be the case. But this system is even more evil than what I've just described, because since the dollars are created through debt, they're also destroyed when the debt is paid off. So one company paying down its debt reduces the potential income of all other companies. So it is literally not possible for all the companies to pay down their debt at the same time. Every company has to take in more money than what they originally took out on a loan, but that's impossible because that money doesn't exist. So in a capitalist system with real money that's not also a liability, like gold for instance, there is a possibility that some new businesses will go bankrupt because nobody's there to save them. That's what the nature of capitalism is. But with our with our liability-based fiat, there is the necessity that at least some businesses go bankrupt, if any are to stay afloat at all, because in order for one company to get enough dollars to pay down its debt, that means some other company won't have enough. And that naturally creates unemployment, of course, because businesses create employment. So this system artificially creates unemployment, was the main point of the last section. And to top it off, although there is always a shortage of dollars, due to inflation, the value of these dollars is always decreasing. So everyone constantly needs more dollars this year than they needed last year, when already last year there weren't enough dollars. So it's a system that quite likely becomes worse with time. If we used real money like gold or Bitcoin, then there would be no necessity of money shortage. If there were a money shortage in a gold or Bitcoin-based system, then the value of the money would simply increase, which means you would experience price deflation until there was enough money. But deflation in a society that by design has more debt than savings will simply ruin the majority of people. The people who do have net savings will be better off with their deflation, But most people won't have net savings, so their debt will just become even more impossible to pay. And I believe this may be one of the primary reasons why the moral quality of society has so thoroughly degraded. It is literally not possible to work to make everyone in the society better off at the same time in this system. No matter how fruitful your labor is, in order to get the dollars you need to pay for all of your expenses, you must doom someone else to unemployment, homelessness, or debt slavery. And I think of debt slavery as paying an ever-increasing portion of your income to the bank. A dollar shortage means that having enough for one person means not enough for somebody else. In this system, it's only possible to work a net positive change in society by avoiding the use of the dollar, which, so far as I can tell, means doing small-scale stuff for your neighbor free of charge. Given the predatory nature of this system as a whole, is it any wonder that the hearts of most of the people living in the system have become small and predatory? So it seems to me that there is only one net positive change that can be worked for society as a whole, and this is to put your savings in real money, like gold or Bitcoin, and limit your use of dollars as much as is within your power.